spelled it all wrong. Top of the day, beautiful people. Shayla, great rising, Auntie. Great rising. Let me get this chapter link real quick. Did I not put this? Hold on. 64. What else can I do? Do we read? We didn't read 10, did we? No, we didn't read 10. No. Okay. Okay, let me get this link. I just had to figure out the chapter. Let me post the link just in case somebody want to like read online. Let me go back to it real quick. I probably should have had this earlier. Book of God's Word. Book of God's Word 10. X. What? Am I tripping? IX. This skip chapter 10. I'm looking at it in order. That's interesting. 9IX. 11 is XI. How you skip a whole chapter in here? Like I never would have figured this out. I never would have even known. Let's see now. That's weird. The online version skips a whole chapter. Okay. They still should have put the link in here. Okay. So you got to go to chapter 9 to see chapter 10. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cameron, shalom, shalom. Okay, y'all. Audrey, shalom. Okay. Hey, guys, let me post the link. Oahspe Book of God's Word, chapter 10. Copy. Boom, there you go. Let me see if I can post it. Nope. Trying to post it when I just wrote on Facebook. Hold on. All right, y'all, hold on. Let me get this posted. I gotta make sure I'm in a few minutes earlier to handle all these things. I'm gonna have posts on the side so it can be a little quick post. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Just in case somebody want to look at it. Okay. There we go. All right. I posted in both places now in the little chat for both live videos. All right, beautiful people. Happy Monday. It's a federal holiday. Juneteenth was yesterday, but they're federally observing it today. But it is June the 20th, 2022, day 138 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1156. And back up on page God's Word. All right, y'all. Okay. Father, we thank you for another day to come together, gathering the brethren and the sisterin, searching for truth. That is our daily, that is our daily desire and our daily need to know and want the truth so we can apply it to our lives. So we are walking in your ways and not living in any kind of false God's kingdom. All right, y'all. I be really thinking deep about this. Some of my thoughts I can't even share with y'all at this point because I'm trying to roll some things through my head. I'm sure I'll tell y'all soon enough though. But I gotta finish thinking it out. You know how some things you think about until you actually like talk about it with somebody else to actually hear yourself say it. Sound kind of crazy. Yeah. My sister's my sounding board for that. Harriet, but love. Greetings, sister. All right, y'all. So, mom, shalom, shalom. Let's go, y'all. Chapter 10 at the bottom section. If you clicked on the link, it's finishing up chapter 9. You got to scroll down just a little bit to see chapter 10 start. And when we go past chapter 10, you should see at the bottom, it should say next or chapter 11. Just click on that and it should take you to the next page. Okay. All right. Then spake Ahua Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, thus thy creator created all things, and the time of their creation was as a time, and a time, and a time, and without measure. Ahua Mazda said unto Zarathustra, thus are the created creations, thus were the created creations, thus shall ever be the created creations. The light of all light is Ormazd. He is the soul of all souls. These are the things seen and things unseen, created by Ormazd, thy creator. Me, or my is M-I, my, the mother almighty. Then is voice, the expression of things, the all speech, the all communion, created by Ormaz, thy creator, and by my, or me, maybe it's me, and me, the Almighty Mother, a virgin never before conceived, and this was Vivanho, the Son. Yahuwah Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, behold me, O thou Zarathustra. Here I make one straight line, and now I make another straight line, and now another, all joined. I'm going to have to do more searching into this too, but I'm going to come back. The Almighty Mother, unless it's just referring, hold on, to the Creator and just, hold on. I don't know, y'all. I really don't. I got to look into this a little bit more. But I ain't going to act like I didn't just read that. Alicia, y'all, shalom. Verse 4 at the bottom of page 65. Then Zarathustra answered, saying, thou hast made a triangle. What is the meaning, O Yahuwah Mazda? Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, saying, 3 in 1, O Zarathustra, Father, Mother, and Son, or Mazd, the ghost of things, me, the seen and unseen, and Vivanho, the expression of things. Okay. Where's my highlighter? Okay, the triangle. So the triangle, he says, the Father, the Mother, and the Son, which is the Father Ormaz, me, the Mother, and Vivanho, the Son, which is the expression of all things. We're going to keep reading. It's going to probably explain itself. Salama. Yahuwah Mazda said unto Zarathustra, these three comprise all things, and all things are but one, nor were there more, nor shall ever be. Nevertheless, O my son, each of these hath 1,000,000 parts, 1,000,000,000 parts, 10,100,000,000,000 parts, and every part is like unto the whole thou, O Zarathustra, also. For thou hast within thyself those three attributes and no more, and each and all created things have these three attributes in them. Thus, Ormaz created the living creation. Brothers and sisters created he them in likeness of himself, with three entities embraced in one, which are first the ghost, the soul, which is incomprehensible, second, the beast, the figure of the person, which is called individual, and third, the expression to receive and to impart. Oh, I get it now. Okay. Okay. So referring to our body, the triangle, right? The triune being. That's what it is, right? It's just explained it in a couple different ways. The Father, the Mother, the Son. Let me underline this. Created with three entities in one first, which is the ghost, the soul, which is incomprehensible, which would be the Father. The second, the beast, which would be the flesh, the figure of the person, which is called individual. And the third, which would be the son, the expression of the mother and father, the child. Um, yeah, third, the expression to receive and to impart. Okay. Let me read all this over again. Let me just start at the beginning of chapter 10. Go back to page 164, y'all. Then spake Ehua Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, Thus thy Creator created all things, and the time of the creation was as a time, and a time, and a time, and without measure. Ehua Mazda said unto Zarathustra, Thus are the created creations, thus were the created creations, thus shall ever be the created creations. The light of all light is Ormazd. He is the soul of all souls. These are the things seen and things unseen created by Ormaz, thy creator. Me, the Mother Almighty, then is voice, the expression of things. Then is voice, or which would be the Son, or it says it died in the third. Hold on, first, second, third, and even third over here it says the expression. Okay. Then is voice, the expression of all things, the all speech, the all communication, created by Ormas, thy creator, and by me, the Almighty Mother, a virgin never before conceived, and this was Vivanho, the Son. Yahuwah Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, Behold me, O thou Zarathustra. Here I make one straight line, and now I make another straight line, and now another, all joined. That's a triangle. Then Zarathustra answered, saying, Thou hast made a triangle. What is the meaning, O Yahuwah Mazda? Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, saying, Three in one, O Zarathustra, Father, Mother, and Son. The Christianity left out the whole woman piece. Three in one, O Zarathustra, Father, Mother, and Son. Ormaz. Remember, Ormaz is another name for the Great Spirit or Jehovah, like this book calls him. Ormaz, the ghost of things. Me, the seen and unseen, and Vivanho, the expression of things. Yahuwah Mazda said unto Zarathustra, These three comprise all things, and all things are but one, nor were there more, nor shall there ever be. Nevertheless, O my son, each of these hath a million parts, 1,000,000,000 parts, excuse me, 10,100,000,000,000 parts, and every part is like unto the whole, thou, O Zarathustra, also. For thou hast within thyself those three attributes and no more, and each and all created things have these three attributes in them. Thus Ormaz created all the living creation. Brothers and sisters created he them in likeness of himself, with three entities embraced in one, which are first the ghost, the soul which is incomprehensible, the all pure, To receive and to impart, what else hath man? What more desireth he? Then Yahuwah Mazda made a picture of a cow and a picture of a horse, a strong male horse dashing forth. And he asked Zarathustra, saying, which of these is significant? Which of these significant? What significant? I'm sorry. Signifieth. Which of these signifieth receiving? Which of these signifieth to impart? And Zarathustra perceived. Yahuwah Mazda said unto Zarathustra, to be negative is to be a cow, to be positive is to be a horse. Zarathustra inquired of Yahuwah Mazda, saying, how many words are there that can be written words? Thou hast now written many wise words full of meaning. How many more words are there? Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, saying, 1,000 words and 10,000 words would not be all, but 10 times 10,000, 100,000, and those are all the words created. So remember, back in, I think it's chapter 11, or chapter, no, I'm sorry, back in, was it 8? I think it's chapter 8, when he sat down, excuse me, Zarathustra sat down with pen and a paper, and a voice is speaking through him. So maybe his hands getting tired. How many more words are there? He said 1,000, 10,000, 1,000. Just keep writing. Verse 9. Then Zarathustra, the all pure, said, write me down all the words and explain the meaning of them to me, that I may go before the world teaching all truth, so that all men will no longer be in darkness. Then Yahuwah Mazda wrote down tens of hundreds and thousands of words and explained the meaning. After that, Zarathustra sat in the bushes for 30 days and 30 nights, neither eating nor drinking nor sleeping. And then Yahuwah Mazda revealed the secrets of heaven. Then Yahuwah Mazda revealed the secrets of heaven and earth to him, and commanded him to write them in a book, the which he did. And this was the first book, the Zarathustrian law, the Yahuwah Mazdian law. Chapter 11. By this authority, then, I, Zarathustra, by the power of Yahuwah Mazda, reveal the created creations. Ormazd created a good creation. First, the land and the water and firm things. Out of the unseen and void created he them. Second, the lights, heavenly, and the heat and cold everywhere. Third, all living animals and fish and birds. Fourth, man and woman. Then Ormazd spake to his son, Vivanho, saying, speech, voice, words. And man and woman were the only talking animals created in all the world. Ormazd then created death, and Rameus with 7 heads created he him. First, vanity, which, and in parentheses it has UK. Then tattling, and in parentheses is OWOW. Then worthlessness, when in parentheses it says Hosey, HOE apostrophe ZEE. Then lying, Ugsga, UGS apostrophe GA. Then incurable wickedness, Hissy, HISS apostrophe CE. Then evil intentions for evil, Bowhiss, BOWH dash HISS. Then king and leader, Davas, DAEVAS. And after Davis, it has reference to the letter E. And I haven't found the references yet on the online version. It has like little tiny highlighted numbers, but not necessarily. I clicked on some of those, and it doesn't take you to the references that we see at the end of each book. So E. Okay, E. These are the same as the 7 tetracts of the Hebrew scriptures. And that's something I probably should know. What's that back? Yeah. Sure? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just remember it takes Savannah to her appointment. Because you're working. Okay. What is wrong with your truck?
What? I was just gonna take your truck.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna take it clean out, but go ahead. I
Oh,
was gonna clean it out, but no, I'm good.
oh, okay. You know, like every other day I roll through the what you call it, because I get free car washes and use the free vacuum cleaners.
Don't be out outside. I'll be concerned with it.
Yeah, I know. I've just vacuumed it out.
Okay.
Okay. These are the same as the 7 tetracts of the Hebrew scriptures. Like I was saying, let me just look that up real quick. I probably know what it is, but the 7 tetracts. Y'all know what that is? What I'm looking up.
Your truck.
You can try the truck, babe. I don't care.
With you.
You can drive it. I'm just saying that car seat because you got that. Oh no, what I'm thinking. Tetracts. Hebrew scriptures. I spelled it right. T T tracks. Okay. 7 tetracts. Images of the 7 tetracts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, just talking about the feast days. That's what it mean by tetracts. Passover, unleavened bread, weeks, trumpets, day of atonement, tabernacles, and what is this? What is sacred assembly? Is that supposed to be the Sabbath? Okay, whatever sacred assembly is. Okay. Okay, the 7 tetracts. Let me look at this one. They say the same thing. Sacred assembly? Hold on. Oh, this using a 9 stem menorah. No. Okay, so the 7 tetracts is the feast days. Okay. Francis, shalom, shalom. Okay. Go back to page 166. Verse 5, chapter 11. Ormaz then created associations, clans, by words bringing men together, Haroyu. Ormaz then created habitations, Okiyah. Then he created dwelling places for the gods, with 4 good corners and 4 evil corners created he them, Varina. And Ormaz created sustenance for the living and the dead, Heoma. Then he created the boon of rest for the weary, Haraquati. And after Haraquati is reference number 7, and it just spells it again, Haraquati. Put in the U in brackets. It's spelled Haraq, the box with the U in the middle, or the brackets, the square brackets with the U in the middle, Aiti. Haraquati. Okay. After that, he created sweet smelling and rich growing pastures, Irva. And Ormaz created combination, which is strength, chakra, then power to receive knowledge, Hayden Amaz. Ormaz then created the holy day, Rak, and in parentheses is RAK. Then he made the 4 signs of the moon, Ukgit, Egit, Kigit, and Migit for all holiness, which is, I want to say, the 4 Sabbaths. Yeah. And he said, 6 days shalt thou labor, O man, and worship on the 7th, because they are the moon, is referring to the Sabbath. And each moon cycle contains 4 Sabbath. It's 4 weeks in each month, and each moon cycle has 4 Sabbaths, which are the 4 holy days of the moon for that month. Ormaz then created the holy day, Rak. Then he made the 4 signs of the moon, Ukgit, Egit, Kigit, and Migit for all holiness. And he said, 6 days shalt thou labor, O man, and worship on the seventh, because they are the moon's times. Then Ormazd, the creator, created the power to live without kings, like the Ehines in the east. And the name of this power he created was Ranha. Then spake Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, to attain to Ranha, how to attain to Ranha, this then is the holy Mazdi other loves. Thou shalt disown all other rulers and kings and queens and lords and gods. Is a connection going in and out? Let me just, I think it's going in and out. I keep saying the thing flicker. Hold on. Let me get y'all the link for Facebook. Uncle JB, shalom. Oh, great spirit. Shalom.
I'm out here. Let's see.
Okay, back. All right. Music.
We'll do.
All right. Hold on, let me get y'all this link. The answered, saying, thou hast made a triangle. What is the meaning, O Yahuwah Mazda? Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, saying, 3 in 1, O Zarathustra. Okay, sorry. All right, YouTube, just in case it's going out, in and out. Okay. Jump over to Facebook if it keeps going out. We at Monday. I really think something they be resetting stuff. They be resetting their Wi-Fi here or something on Monday, because every Monday it's acting up. I'm noticing that pattern. So they definitely do something, or it resets itself or something. Okay. Verse 13, bottom of page 167. Ormazd shall be king, and thou shalt acknowledge no other. He shall be thy all highest love forever, and above all other loves. Hold on. Dang. Okay. Let me make sure my lungs is clear. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ormazd shall be king, and thou shalt acknowledge no other. He shall be thy all highest love forever, and above all other loves. Thou shalt disown all other rulers and kings and queens and lords and gods. Thou shalt not bow down in reverence, save to Ormazd thy creator. Thou shalt covet thyself to thy creator every day, and teach thy children to do also. Thou shalt keep holy the 4 moon days, for they are the change of watch of the gods and angels over men. Ooh. I just thought about something when I read this too. Something I read in was it Jubilees? Within like the first, because it's talking about the Sabbath, and like the first, I want to say 4 chapters, but let me just expand it. Within the first 7 chapters of Jubilees, hold on. It says something like this. It just, yeah, I'm gonna go back and read it today. Okay. Thou shalt, verse 16, thou shalt covenant thyself to thy creator every day, and teach thy children to do so also. Verse 17, thou shalt keep holy the 4 moon days, for they are the change of watch of the gods and angels over men. And it has reference number 8 after men, and at the bottom it says over them. Thou shalt not kill what thy creator created alive. Thou shalt love thy father next to thy creator and obey his voice. Let me just pause. Go back. Thou shalt not kill what thy creator created alive. And that is everything. Everything. Humans and animals. Nope, I'm out, Ma. I just saw your text. Thou shalt not kill what thy creator created alive. Thou shalt love thy father next to thy creator, and obey his voice, and honor thy mother, because she brought thee forth by the will of thy creator. Thou shalt not suffer thy desires to lead thee after woman. Thou shalt not suffer thy desires to lead thee after woman. Thou shalt not take that which is another's. Thou shalt not be vain, for nothing is thine. Thou shalt not speak untruth, meaning don't be out here lying, telling fibs. Thou shalt not, I'm sorry, this is so aggravating. Although it's not as bad as it's been, because I can clearly tell for like the last couple of days, I felt like my head was like full of mucus, and it's I sounded to me like I sounded stuffy, but I wasn't, but I was. But I can tell today it's clear, but it's still like a little small cough that, I'm sorry y'all. I'll be completely, I'm gonna say completely better by the end of the day. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think it's actually because I'm fasting to help kick this further. I should have did it, It's I could tell a major difference. It's like my head is cleared, and it's definitely cleared more. I think my voice sounds clearer as well. Okay. Verse 24. Thou shalt not talk of thy neighbor behind his back, for Ormaz heareth thee, and the angels will go tell thy neighbor's soul what thou hast said. Okay, thanks, Mom. I'll swing, but I'll get some. I gotta be careful because I think it's either that, and I didn't purchase any more of the quercetin, nor did I purchase any more vitamin K, because when I had got sick with COVID, my mom said I have some Q you can get. She talking about quercetin. Remember I was telling you about the quercetin? Okay, but it helps where it was helping. Well, it was helping with like inflammation. It was one of the things that you could get for to help your immune system to protect you against the vid, right? But when I had got sick, when I was dizzy like all the time, but I was still taking the natural stuff. And so I didn't quite I couldn't tell what was causing me to be dizzy, and the doctors couldn't figure that part out either. But about a month ago, it was about a month, no, maybe probably about a couple months ago now, when I felt like a little cough or something coming on and the kids had started sneezing, um, I decided to take some quercetin, but I also took it with the vitamin K. And I noticed right after it, I started getting dizzy again. And it dawned on me, wait a minute, I was taking both of these together when I was trying to kick the vid and I couldn't kick the dizziness, but I kept taking those two together. So I'm thinking, I'm not sure now, I was taking the quercetin for a long time before I even added the vitamin K. So I'm thinking it's probably the vitamin K that I had, or it's the vitamin K and the quercetin combined together. But that dizziness was so bad that I don't even want to see which one it was. I want to say it wasn't the quercetin because I was taking it for a while and it didn't bother me. I didn't have any kind of dizzy spells. But thank you, but I don't know that I want to take it because I don't think it's the quercetin, but it's just when I was taking that and the vitamin K together that I just completely stricken them both from my diet. So, but thank you, Mom. All right. Verse 24. Thou shalt not talk of thy neighbor behind his back, for Ormaz heareth thee, and the angels will go tell thy neighbor's soul what thou hast said. Thou shalt not be idle or lazy, or thy flesh will become weak and bear down thy soul. Thou shalt not envy, nor harbor hatred against any man, nor woman, nor child. Thou shalt not reprove any man nor woman for they are the creators. Verse 28. Thou shalt not reprove thine own child and teach him the right way. Okay, we're going to keep reading. We're going to figure this out. Thou shalt not lie with thy wife during pregnancy. What? Who? We all the way wrong. Thou shalt not take to wife any of thy kin, save beyond the fifth generation. Thou shalt not take to wife a woman of unclean habits. Thou shalt not commit the self habit. The self habit. I don't know what the self habit is. We'll probably figure it out. The self habit. Well, the first thing I thought, I don't know, maybe it would have said that, but the self habit, maybe that's being conceited or maybe playing with yourself. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Thou shalt not commit the self habit. Thou shalt not desire of thy neighbor more than thou wouldest give. Thou shalt fast one day of the fourth moon all thy life. Oh, let me read this again. Thou shalt fast one day of the fourth moon all thy life, neither eating fish, nor flesh, nor bread, nor fruit, nor anything but water shall enter thy mouth. Well, that's what I'm doing like right now. Wait, where we at? No, we ain't at the week of the fourth moon. That's next week? That's next week. I'm a little early, but I'll be doing it. Okay, y'all. Rob and Salama. Okay. Verse 34. Thou shalt fast one day of the fourth moon all thy life, neither eating flesh, nor fish, nor bread, nor fruit, nor anything but water shall enter thy mouth. One whole year of thy life thou shalt dwell with the poor, live with the poor, sleep with the poor, begging for alms for the poor. Mm, we all need to get it together. Okay, that was the end of chapter 11. Chapter 12. Yahuwah Mazda said unto Zarathustra, the all pure, 3K, or cased, Castes, 3 castes have I made. The first are the Ehims, sacred above all other people, because they keep my commandments. Second, the Ehuans, more powerful created I them than other people, because by them I will subdue the earth. And third, the Drooks, the evil people who will not learn. Yahuwah Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, remember the case of men, keep thy blood in the place I created thee, nor shalt thou marry but in the caste I created thee. Okay. Ehua Mazda said, 1,000 I created amongst the Ehuans, the king, the doctor, the magician, the priest, the farmer, the bearer of burdens, the messenger, swift footed, and for all other occupations under the sun. Each and all within their own caste created I them, nor shall they marry, but in the case I created them. Okay, so it says the kings, those who were made in the kingly fashion should marry within the kings. The doctors should marry within the doctors. The magicians should marry within the magicians. The priests should marry within the priests, so on and so forth. Farmers, you marry another farmer's daughter, right? Okay, y'all get it. Zarathustra responded to Ehua Mazda, saying, I will keep thy commandments, thy 70 commandments, and 707,000. Okay. Thy 70 commandments and 707,000. I will preserve sacred the case thou hast created, O Ehua Mazda, and I will teach these holy truths to my children, to my servants, and to all men. Then Ehua Mazda wrote all the commandments as here above, and he stooped down and kissed the books, which were of stone and of cloth, saying, This is my holy book. Take it, O Zarathustra, thou all pure, and go forth into all the world, teaching it and explaining it. Then Zarathustra, the all pure, stooped down and kissed the book, saying, This is thy holy book, O Ehua Mazda. I take it and I will go into all the world, teaching it and explaining it. Thus was completed the first sacred, most holy book created for mortals. Not the Bible, it was this. And Zarathustra rose up from his writing, tall and handsome, inquiring of Yahuwah Mazda, saying, whither shall I go first, O Master? Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, creator of the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, saying, take my holy book, the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, first to Asha, king of the Ehuans, king of Oahspe, the city of the sun. Remember, that was the king. That was he was full of wisdom and stuff. Remember, the king say I forget his name, Seho. Anyway, he was killed. Remember, he had put out this decree to kill all the male children because they wouldn't bring Zarathustra and his mama to him. The wise man who they made king after they killed the king who wanted to kill all the babies and the mamas. Him. Take my holy book, the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, first to Asha, king of the Ehuans, king of Oahspe, the city of the sun. This names is just like the Bible does. You know how well when we was reading through uh what's the book? The Jewish book. What's it called? The the Legends of the Jews. When we was reading through the Legends of the Jews, when it was going into more detail about Moses getting a Torah from Yah, he said that this is my law or God's word, but people will call it Moses's Torah, right? And we can still, and they actually fight about that. Yeah, it's Moses' Torah, but that was a Yah said this is going to be what did he say? An honor unto him that people will call his Torah Yah's Torah, Moses' Torah, because it was Moses who was the conduit who actually wrote it or whatever, or was there while Yah wrote it with his finger. But they would call it Moses' law because he presented it, he taught it, but it came directly from the Creator. It looked like it's the same thing here. Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, creator of the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, saying, remember both of these, the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law is the same exact thing. It's just Zarathustra wrote it. Okay. Then answered Yahuwah Mazda, creator of the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, saying, take my holy book, the Ormazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, first to Asha, king of the Ehuans, king of Oahspe, the city of the sun. Him have I prepared for thee and thy work since the day of his birth, since the day of thy birth, the day I spake to him in thy infancy. Then went forth Zarathustra, strong in faith, and he came to Asha the king. And the king said unto him, thou hast tarried so long. Behold, I have cast the horoscope 100 times, 1,000 times. I have proved all the stars in heaven and named them and made maps of them. And I have measured the power of one star over another star and the powers of the stars on this world, and the powers of the sun and moon. Yea, I have sent into the great cities of the east to men of great learning, and to the south and north and west to men of great learning. And then I sent to the kings of Japheth and of Shem, to Bog Gan Gad, and has reference number 9, Baal Gan God. It says at the bottom. And I and to Bagan God, and it also has F. Hold on. Reference letter F after the reference number 9. And F says, see ceremonies, book of Safa, 1882 edition. I think we actually read that. Let me just double check real quick to see what the book of Safa is. I think we already read the book of Safa. If that's the case, I'm not going to go back and reread that because I think that the whole ceremonies was pretty lengthy. Did I skip over it? Book of what? I definitely got to be. Oh yeah, hold on. No, where we at? No, we didn't. Okay, that's page 516. Oh, we skipped to it one time before. Okay, okay, yeah. We'll come upon that when we go. That's a whole all the different sections and stuff. Okay, we're not gonna go up there. And then I sent to the kings of Japheth and of Shem, to Bagan Gad, to Bingtha, and to the great city of Husin, where the great philosopher Dong liveth. And from all of these I have obtained great wisdom. Hear me then, O Zarathustra. I will speak to thee as if thy philosophy were true, but yet I believe it not. First, then, in all the stars, there is nothing but lies. Neither matter it if a man be born under this star or that star. I am old now and have observed thousands of men, yea, kings and queens, as to whether the stars rule over them. And I declare unto thee that the philosophy of the stars is nothing but lies. Yea, I have searched in my own self, and I find I am often doing things contrary to my first intentions, but as to the cause, I know not. This also have I discovered. There is one kind of cause that lie with individuals, and there is another kind of call, and there is another kind of causes that lie with kings and kingdoms, but yet I perceive that each and every man is bound in his own channel by something stronger than himself. To find the cause of this, I have searched to the extent of all the stars in the firmament, but found not the truth. Now I ask thee, in the name of thy gods, if thou can prove this matter to thy king. Then answered Zarathustra, saying, through my hand hath Ehua Mazda written a most holy book, explaining many philosophies. This book have I brought unto thee, according to the commandments of my God, and read thou it. Then the king took the book and read it, and on the next day Zarathustra came again before the king. The king said, thy book saith thus and so, but it proveth little. Thy God asserteth that he has done thus and so, and that he created thus and so. First of all, then, I know not if there be a God. Second, if there be a God, I know not that he cometh to thee. And third, if he cometh to thee, and he be a just God, why he cometh not to me? Very good questions. And yet, after all this, for I doubt not thy wisdom will give sufficient answers to these questions. If it be true, there are gods unseen that rule over us, and spirits of the dead that come to us, persuading our souls unconsciously to ourselves. What mattereth it where we try or not to obtain truth and wisdom? Shall not all things be left to the spirits and gods and lords? Knowest thou not that the ancients believed these things? And yet, what of the ancients? Were they not in darkness and addicted to horrid rites and ceremonies and murders and savagery? With our wisdom of disbelief in their religions, with our wisdom of disbelief in their religions, have we not attained to great cities and empires? Behold, our thousands and tens of thousands of large cities, and do they not all have just reason to be proud? For there is not one city which that its walls and gates are adorned with thousands of the skeletons and skulls of serpents and lions and the scalps of droogs. Then spake Yahuwah Mazda to the king, speaking through the voice of Zarathustra, saying, hear thy word, O king, and be considerate of my words. There are two births unto all men. The first is from the mother's womb, and the second is from the corporal body. Prior to the first birth, The will and power of the child is nothing as to shaping its own destiny. Prior to the spiritual birth, which is the mortal birth, the man has much to do as to shaping his future destiny in the next world. Oh my gosh, me and my sister was talking about this yesterday. Alicia, yeah, you still here? Remember how y'all hear me say, I was like, we born from one womb right into another womb? Like we are carried first in the womb of our mother, then to be born into the womb of the earth. Matter of fact, I think it's the book of Ezra. There's a book of Ezra in here, but in the book of Ezra, I forget which one. The not the Ezra in the Bible, the one in the Apocrypha is called, it's called either, it's two books in the Apocrypha, and they're called by two different names. It's called the third and the fourth book of Ezra, being um the third and the fourth connecting to the book of Nehemiah and the actual book of Ezra in the Bible. So the book of Nehemiah will actually be the first book of Ezra. And then Ezra in the Bible will actually be the second book of Ezra. Then in the Apocrypha, you have the third and the fourth book of Ezra, which is also called, the third and fourth book is also called the third and I'm sorry, the first and the second book of Esdras, right? Okay. But in the third and the fourth book, or the first and second book of Esdras, it talks about the earth being a womb, and it's actually talking about a mother's stomach and comparing the earth to a mother's stomach and what we're doing while we're in the womb of the earth, and that when we're born out of this womb, or when we die, which we call death, we are literally really we're born, like born for real, like our spirits, and from that point we are always in the ether, right, or in our spiritual bodies. But that's when we become truly born. All right, Robin, did I say hey? I did. You just made a second comment. Asha is truth and righteousness. You know what? This is, look. When you said, when I was doing the research the other day, matter of fact, in yesterday's video, when I was talking about Asha, remember I was saying, and I'm not sure if he was here, when I was writing down the notes for the list of the hierarchy, when I came across Asha, I thought Asha was an actual ranking. Then I found out that Asha was the actual person, which is the king we're talking about now, who wasn't the king at first, but he became king when they killed the other one, right? But when I started reading about it, I was like, I seen Asha somewhere before, and then I remembered you, Robin. I remember you posting Asha quite a few times when you come in. Okay, all right, Lisa, you must be on a time delay. But I'm talking about what we was talking about yesterday about us being in the earth, being this, the earth being the womb, the whole conversation we was having. Okay, let me read this again. Verse 19. We have 55 minutes. Oh my gosh. Then spake Ehuamazah to the king, speaking through the voice of Zarathustra, saying, Hear thy God, O king, and be considerate of my words. There are two births unto all men. The first is from the mother's womb, and the second is from the corporal body. Prior to the first birth, the will and the power of the child is nothing as to the shaping its own destiny. But prior to the spiritual birth, which is the mortal death, the man hath much to do as to shaping his future destiny in the next world. So, whatever we do here in the physical will determine where we go when we actually are born into the spiritual realm, or after we die, right? Just like we're reading about how those like you got to prepare your body here, you got to like stop eating meat, like a plant-based lifestyle, all these things, otherwise your spirit is going to be too heavy to carry you, like you literally will not be able to rise, because your spirit will have all kind of holes in it, it's going to be dark. And then if you don't, depending on where you at when you die, you either gonna try and latch on here, right, for the desires of the flesh will linger around in your spirit, although you don't have it. But this is why they were doing sacrifices, because the spirits who didn't get it together before they let their flesh body go, they're still craving that flesh. And although they can't eat it anymore with their physical mouth, the aromas from it, like you read in the Bible, it's a lot of that there, right? When they slaughter the animals, it talks about the sweet smelling aromas and the incense and all that stuff. That is food. That is spiritual food for the spirits who are stuck on that first heaven, who we call demons and droops. So when you sacrifice and think you sacrificing to the Lord God, no, my G, you feeding the demons. Okay. Go back and read that, y'all. This is really good. Then spake, let me say, if you are, or if you have been a diligent student of the Bible, I would say your understanding is not complete. It cannot be complete unless you add some of this and not some of this. Go through here and read all of this, that, and some of the other. It's a lot of books. Things has just been broken up and scattered. Like all the stuff I've read, like the Apocrypha, all those different books, the Book of King Og, the Nebuchadnezzar tablets 1 and 2, all of these things. The somebody mentioned it before, the book of Cain and Lamech. When I was reading all of those actually give a lot of details on what the other side was doing. Like if you read in the Bible, it says um don't do what the people of Molech and all that stuff was doing. But anyway, these other tablets, like the Nebuchadnezzar tablets and Cain and the book of Cain and Lamech and all those different ones, the book of King Og, in those tablets, it actually have what those people were doing and the same type of sacrifices that they were doing, and talking about Molech and them actually praying to their God and all this stuff. And like I said, if names had been removed from those tablets, I would think I was reading about Israel. There is no difference whatsoever. Israel was doing the same type of bloody stuff that the other nations were doing, even though their God was, the Israelites' God was telling you to do certain things. If you go back and look, you can see that same exact thing. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Something is wrong, because the Israelite God is still telling them to do the same type of stuff that these other nations are doing. But if you never go read this, nobody ever asked the question like, excuse me, well, I read, well, what you reading that for? You ain't even supposed to be reading over there. Those are the kind of answers you get from your Christian teachers. You ain't even supposed to be reading that, it's demonic, but y'all doing the same thing. Did you read what they doing? Like, you telling us to do the same thing, but you having us do it like for play. You giving us grape juice and crackers, but they using real flesh and blood. Is we symbolizing? Like, I don't understand. Help make this make sense to me, right? Y'all got to read some of that stuff. Okay, let's go back. Verse 20. I declare unto thee, O king, that the corporal man is, therefore, but half accomplished as to his real life. He is but half his own master, but half the controller of his place and behavior in the mortal world. Nevertheless, he is the first half, the first chooser. Think not that spirits and gods rule men as if they were slaves or toys. For another power also lieth over man, which is neither spirits, nor gods, nor stars, nor moon, nor sun, but the corporal surroundings that feed his earthly desires. This is the Ormazdian law, not the corporeal stars, or corporeal earth, or corporeal moon, or corporeal man ruleth over the spirit, but the subtle, the unseen mortals is the cause and ruler of all things. I read that again. This is the Ormazdian law, not the corporeal stars, or corporeal earth, or corporeal moon, or corporeal man ruleth over the spirit, but the subtle, the unseen mortals is the cause and ruler of all things. Asha said, oh, that I could believe this. Oh, that I knew this were true. Oh, that the unseen worlds could be opened up to my understanding, for I perceive there is more power and virtue in thy philosophy than in my decrees. By touching thy book, O Zarathustra, answer thou me this: whom do the people in the world belong to, if not to me, the Sun King? Are not the people mine? Yahuwah Mazda said, all belong to Ormazd. Is not is it not taught that man shall acknowledge obedience and worship to Ormazd only? Asha said, I so perceive. Answer me this, O Zarathustra. To disown the king and the king's kings, will not this bring anarchy? For will not the rulers declare thy doctrine robbeth them of subjects? To which Yahuwah Mazda suffered Zarathustra to reply. He said, is it not hard for a man to not have the privilege to choose his own master? Behold, they are now impressed into war. Yea, thou keepest standing armies, trained in the labor of death. And this is for the glory of the Sun Kingdom. Now hear me, O King, for I am now speaking on my own accord, and no God is speaking through me. And I declare unto thee, I have attained power to go in soul into unseen worlds and behold with my own eyes how it is with the souls of the dead. And I declare unto thee, there are great torments for the wicked. I have seen them in hell, with walls of fire going up around them day and night, suffocating fires of brimstone from which they cannot escape. And those slain in war, both those that are used for the king and those against the king, are equally cast into ceaseless torments, and even kings and queens with them, where all are wailing and gnashing their teeth and cursing, and in their madness doing wickedly unto others with all their might. The king said, if it be that thou canst go into heaven and hell, it must be true thou can go to places on the corporal earth in the same way. Prove thou this to me, and I will believe all thou hast said. Then Zarathustra said, tell me whither I shall go, that I may convince thee, O king. Asha said, go thou to the tower of the horoscope and find the words on the calendar. Then spake Yahuwah Mazda, saying, have I not said spirit cannot be proved but to spirit? Have I not said, I am Yahuwah Mazda, and Zarathustra have said he is Zarathustra? So remember, the God Yahuwah Mazda is speaking through Zarathustra. Just like if I would yield my body over for the spirit of Yah to speak through me, it would be called prophecy. So it's the same person standing there, right? Asha, it's just Asha and Zarathustra. But while Zarathustra is talking, sometimes it's Ormaz. That's when it'll say Ormaz said. But then when it's Zarathustra, it'll say Zarathustra said. And that's what it said a few sentences ago. He said, it is I who speak now and not Yahuwah or Maz. But anyway, y'all get it. Well, he made a difference on who was speaking. But anyway, let's go back. Verse 27. Asha said, go thou to the tower of the horoscope and find the words on the calendar. Then spake Yahuwah Mazda, saying, have I not said spirit cannot be proved but to spirit? Have I not said, I am Yahuwah Mazda, and Zarathustra hath said he is Zarathustra? But this thou canst not see. Behold, thou shalt witness now thine own craft. Here returneth Zarathustra. Then spake Zarathustra, saying, thou saidest to me, this would definitely seem like somebody with split personalities. That actually people call that split personality sometimes if they're unlearned, but there's really some people they playing the whole role. They really do got split personalities, but we know their real self is in a sunken place and another spirit is speaking through them. Okay. Or people just acting crazy. You got a little bit of both. Then spake Zarathustra, saying, thou sayest to me, go to the tower of the horoscope and find the words of the calendar. Lo, I have been there, and I am already returned before thee. These then are the words of the calendar: Toka, Says, Sitavi, Tanong, Biang, Lusengu, Watchich, and Por, and Ut, and D, and Git. I probably said those wrong. Asha said, "This is true, but how shall I determine that thou gatherest not the calendar from my heart?" It's a good question. He asking some good questions. And after I, down at the bottom, after I is reference number 10, but how shall I determine? And down at the bottom it says, how shall I not determine? Okay. Asha said, "This is true, but how shall I determine that thou gatherest not the calendar from my heart? For I had the knowledge in my heart since sunrise." Then answered Zarathustra, saying, "Try me once again. Yea, thou shalt ask me for some toy of thine, and I will go fetch it." No, let me see how you gonna do this. Asha said, "Behold, when I was a boy, I let fall into the river betwixt the cliffs at the outer wall a golden case. Go, thou bring it." Then spake Yahuwah Mazda, "Two conditions belong to all men, belief and unbelief. They are as seeds planted in the soul of man while he is yet in his mother's womb, and when he is born forth into the world, they begin to grow within him. If man favor one only, it will grow at the expense of the other. Because of unbelief in man, he searcheth after truth and knowledge, but because of belief in man, he findeth happiness. But the latter may lead to stupidity, and the former to cruelty. It is a wise man, therefore, that keepeth these two talents evenly balanced. Let me read that again. The whole verse 32. Then spake Ehua Mazda, two conditions belong to all men, belief and unbelief. These are as seeds planted in the soul of man while he is yet in his mother's womb. And when he is born forth into the world, they begin to grow within him. If man favor one only, it will grow at the expense of the other. Because of unbelief in man, he searches after truth and knowledge. But because of belief in man, he findeth happiness, but the latter may lead to stupidity, and the former to cruelty. It is a wise man, therefore, that keepeth these two talents evenly based. And all of us here has definitely experienced the where he said, but because of belief in man, he findeth happiness, but the latter may lead to stupidity, right? And that all that stupidity came in because of what we believed and how we believe in JC. Like the belief, you can be totally blinded by beliefs, right? And it'll lead you to stupidity, which we're no longer in. Like we completely waking up from that. Verse 33. We're going, who we at? We're the hour and 9 minutes. Because it is a federal holiday, mostly everybody off, I'm going to treat it like it's a weekend. So I read maybe one or two more chapters, but if y'all actually do have to work today, go ahead and get out of here for you get in trouble with Caesar. Verse 33. Now even whilst Yahuwah Mazda spake, the long lost golden case fell at the king's feet, and it was dripping with water. The king examined it and then exclaimed, "This is true. And yet, if there be spirits and gods, how shall I determine which one bought this? May it not have been an evil spirit as well as a good one?" Like dude was standing right there in your face the entire time while you was talking about belief and unbelief and being stupid with belief, right? And by the time he got finished doing that, at your feet was lying that little toy that you told him to go fetch. Like, bro didn't move. He said, "Okay, look, yeah, this is it." Well, how I know it wasn't a demon that bought this. Like this conversation gonna go on forever with them, especially if I should keep asking questions like this. The king, hold on, let me go back. Now, even whilst Ehua Mazda spake, the long lost golden case fell at the king's feet, and it was yet dripping wet with water. Hold on, it didn't say wet. And it was yet dripping with water. The king examined it and then exclaimed, "This is true. And yet, if there be spirits and gods, how shall I determine Which one bought this? May it not have been an evil spirit as well as a good one? Then spake Yahuwah saying, Have I not said I will show thee thine own craft and finding some other reason than the right one? Asha said, O ye gods, cannot ye heal me of my unbelief? My judgment showeth me, my judgment showeth me, I am diseased in my heart. Oh, that my mother had been a believing woman before I was born. Tell me, O Zarathustra, or Ehua Mazda, whoever thou art. He getting a little frustrated now. Whoever you are at this moment, one of y'all tell me, O Zarathustra, or Ehua Mazda, whoever thou art, for I perceive thou art not like any man under the sun. Tell me what I shall do. Tell me what I shall do that I may become thy servant. And this is the king talking to this guy. Ehua Mazda said, On the morrow at sunrise, I will come to thee with Zarathustra, and I will tell thee many things. And that was the end of chapter 12. That was 36 verses. We're going to go on and read chapter 13. Dana. Yes, we finished the meditation book yesterday. It was the last day reading. Trina, hey girl, hey. Robert, happy birthday. I'm just looking at the comments over here. I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't neglecting Facebook. Hold on. Cancel. Tell Robert I said happy birthday, Trina. Okay. But yeah, Dana, we read the last of that yesterday. So for the next few days, we just gonna read strictly from the Oahspe while I revisit the lineup that we reading on the second half of the video. Okay. Chapter 13. When the time had come on the morrow, the king said, I have not slept. All night I was as one burnt with fever, for thy wondrous words and thy miracles have well nigh turned my judgment upside down. Yahuwah Mazda said, Because man cannot understand a thing, he shall cry out, Miracle! Oh my gosh, don't they do that in Christianity? Boy, I got some funny stories. Let me keep reading though. Everything you learn all kinds of superstitions while you're in Christianity. If something is evil or wicked or whatever, they cry out demon, or it's something beyond the ordinary, it's paranormal and stuff like that, right? Think about um even in not the book of Daniel, it is a part of the book of Daniel, but Bel and the dragon, right? I think about this. You know how the gods were thinking that their idols of wood and stone was actually eating the food. It was like, yo, this is a miracle. All this. I was like, Daniel had to come in here and say, no, king, it's not, right? This is nothing but wood and stone. Let me show you what's really happening. Yeah, so when we don't really understand things, we just automatically categorize it as being a miracle, paranormal, and we lack understanding. Yahuwah Mazda said, Because a man cannot understand a thing, he shall cry out, Miracle! Now I have declared I have done no miracle, nor hath Zarathustra. Yet to mortals these things are miracles. If so, is not a man a miracle to himself? Is not procreation a miracle? This then I have found, O Asha, what man is not accustomed to, he calleth a miracle. After he hath seen a matter frequently, he calleth it natural law. What man hast thou found that comprehendeth the first cause of any? Hold on, let me go back. That's a question. What man hast thou found that comprehendeth the first cause of anything under the sun? Why then shall man waste his time in unprofitable research? Is it not wiser that man labor to raise his fellow men out of misery and darkness than to gratify his own personal desire for great learning? The king said, Thou reasonest well, and yet what learned good man hast thou found who will not say, Yea, to do good is a pretty philosophy? Pretty philosophy might be in our title for today. And yet, what learned good man hast thou found who will not say, Yea, to do good is a pretty philosophy? And there endeth and there endeth his aspiration. What then can I say, or what canst thou say, that the words will not be bearing of fruit? Ehuamazah said, Thou art this day king of all the world, nor is there any other kingdom but payeth thee tribute. Whatsoever thou desirest is as a law unto all other kingdoms. For that reason I am come unto thee. Yea, thou wert born to this end. Hear then the voice of thy God, and thou shalt do that which is good for thy soul and good for all other people. Asha said, Almost am I tempted to accede to thy wishes, ere thou hast revealed, but yet hear thou the voice of thy king. What matters it to me about the good of other people? Even if it be proven that great men have souls that live after death, it is not yet proven that the droops have souls also. If they have souls, then heaven must be a stupid place indeed. For thou hast not shown me that man obtaineth wisdom by dying, nor is it reasonable that he should do so. Rather tell me, O Zarathustra, how may I get rid of the world? For of what use is life at most? For of what use is life at most? Ehuamazah said, Because thou rejoicest not in thy life, thou perceivest that thy philosophy is deficient, and not that the world is. Yeah, that's what I say. Okay. Ehuamazah said, Because thou rejoicest not in thy life, thou perceivest that thy philosophy is deficient, and not that the world is. Oh, I still read it wrong. Okay, let me read it one more time. Ehuamazah said, Because thou rejoicest not in thy life, thou perceivest that thy philosophy is deficient, and not that the world is. For I will yet prove to thee that thou art overflowing with happiness. To believe the things I reveal and have faith therein is to become happy. Then the king answered him, saying, To believe, there is the matter. I declare unto thee, there is not a grain of belief in my heart. How then can it grow? Ehuamazah said, He who can say, I can think of an all highest, hath the seed of everlasting life in him. He who liveth the all highest, he can. He who thinketh of the all highest, he who talketh to the all highest, he who trieth to perceive from the standpoint of the all highest, quickly transcendeth belief and become a very God in faith. He becometh master of himself and feedeth himself with happiness, even as men feed themselves with bread. That's Asha said, What wouldest thou have me to do? To which Ehuamazah said, With the people thou hast greater authority than a god, greater than miracles. Thy decrees are all powerful. Thou shalt have a copy of this book, written on stone and cloth, one copy for every sub kingdom in thy dominions, and thou shalt send it to them with a sword and a serpent, saying to them, Receive ye this book, for it is a holy book, the all highest law, the Ehuamazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, the Ormazdian law. And it shall be a rule and guide unto you and your kingdom forever. And every king in the kingdom of the sun shall serve 1 year, living with the poor, carrying the alms bowls for sacrifices unto Ormazd. And when thou hast sent this decree forth into all the world, thou shalt thyself give up thy kingdom and whatsoever, having nothing left unto thyself but the clothes that covered thee. Oh my goodness, it's Tiffany here. Yo, yesterday, was it yesterday? Maybe day before yesterday, the first day, maybe the first day of reading this. No, it was yesterday. Definitely it was yesterday. Um, yep, right at the end of chapter 6. When Yeah, that was the king. Okay, so when Zarathustra finally came back, remember, he had been hidden for all these years. Remember, King Soki had killed everybody, wanted to kill all the men, babies, and all that stuff if they didn't bring Zarathustra and his mom back. But anyway, after they had killed King Soki and made Asha the king, Back at the end of chapter 6 in the book of God's word, verse 22, it says, Asha said, thou wert to smite the city, and it would fall. Behold, it standeth. Yet I desire not to stand in my own light. Then Zarathustra spake on his own account, saying, Fear not, O king, for this philosophy. And Zarathustra had told him that Asha would be made king, right? So, fear not, O king, for this philosophy. As thou wouldest bendest a straw, so do the gods will the nations of the earth. The city will fall ere 6 years pass, and thou shalt be reduced to beggary, and yet thou shalt be happier than now. So this looks like this is about to come to pass. So look, definitely some time has passed, right? Even in their conversation today, he was saying, Man, where you been? You told me that I couldn't come follow you. You said just stay here because I need you right here. Then Zarathustra went off, and then Huamaza began to speak to him, and he wrote this book. So definitely some years passed. And if it's about to be that this kingdom that Asha is ruling is about to fall, it's definitely been at least 6 years, right? Because back here in chapter 6, he told him in 6 years, the city will fall ere 6 years pass, and thou shalt be reduced to beggary, and yet thou shalt be happier than now. But I brought that back up because apparently this living with the poor and begging for alms is a part of what kings are supposed to do, I guess, so they can feel the plight of the people in their kingdom, so they can realize that one is not better than the other, all that good stuff. Okay. All right. I just put that together. Okay. What was I at? Okay. Let me just read verse 10 again. It's pretty long. Asha said, What wouldst thou have me to do? To which Ihuamazda said, With the people thou hast great authority than a god, greater than miracles. Thy decrees are all powerful. Thou shalt have a copy of this book written on stone and cloth, one copy for every sub kingdom in thy dominions, and thou shalt send it to them with a sword and a serpent, saying to them, Receive ye this book, for it is a holy book, the all highest law, the Huamazdian law, the Zarathustrian law, the Ormazdian law, and it shall be a rule to guide you in your kingdom forever. And every king in the kingdom of the sun shall serve 1 year, living with the poor, carrying the alms bowls for sacrifices unto Ormaz. And then thou hast sent this decree, and when thou hast sent this decree forth into all the world, thou shalt thyself give up thy kingdom, and thou shalt give to the poor all thy gold and silver and cases, and all thy treasures whatsoever, having nothing left unto thyself but the clothes that cover thee. And thou shalt go and live with the poor, carrying the alms bowl thyself in the streets of Oahspe, and of the food gatherest, and of the food thou gatherest in the bowl, thou shalt give the choicest part to the poor, saying, This is the sacrifice of many given unto thee. Eat ye of it, for it is the very body and blood of Ormazd, our Father in heaven. But the poorest of all, but the poorest of all, that is but the poorest of all that is in the bowl shall be thy portion. Okay, the little bit that's left belong to you. Ain't that interesting of what this said? It reminded me of what we mentioned earlier today about the communion and everything. But this is completely different from what um, the New Testament teaches, right? And what churches teach. Listen, I'm going to read this again, verse 11. All these verses are extremely long. And when thou hast sent this decree forth into all the world, thou shalt give, I'm sorry, thou shalt thyself give up thy kingdom, and thou shalt give to the poor all thy gold and silver in cases, and all thy treasures whatsoever, having nothing left unto thyself but the clothes that cover thee. And thou shalt go and live with the poor, carrying the alms bowls thyself in the streets of Oahspe. And of the food thou gatherest in the bowl, thou shalt give the choicest parts unto the poor, saying, This is the sacrifice of many given unto thee. Eat ye of it, for it is the very body and blood of Ormaz, our Father in heaven. But the poorest of all that is in the bowl shall be thy portion. And at the end of 1 year, thou shalt go about preaching the Ormazdian law, commanding the cessation of war and the abandonment of evil and the acceptance of righteousness. The king said, what canst thou promise me if I do all these things? Then Yahuwah suffered Zarathustra to answer him. He said, nothing. Did the Creator ask? Did the Creator ask this before he made the world? If thou desirest to approach thy Creator, do thou like unto him. Nor is it my place, nor the angel's place, nor the place of God to promise thee anything. Thou art not my servant, and thou shalt serve only the Master, all like Jehovah. And as I have taught thee, so shalt thou go and teach others, explaining the Ormazian law. Asha said, do the gods in heaven give rewards for good works and sacrifices done on earth? Come on, Asha. Man, just get it done. Look. Okay. So after he said, do the angels, do the gods in heaven give rewards for good works and sacrifices done on earth? After sacrifices is reference letter G. And G says on page 215, the word sacrifice here is evidently used in the same sense as in the Vedic scriptures and signifies contribution to the poor and afflicted. 1882 edition. Okay. Asha said, do the gods in heaven give rewards for good works and sacrifices done on earth? Zarathustra said, he that doeth good works and maketh sacrifices unto Ormaz hath his reward. For it is by this means that the soul of man becometh strong, and especially strong for the first and second resurrections in the next world. Oh, that's good. Oh, look, I get something. Wait a minute, hold on. A thought was trying to formulate while I was thinking about this. Okay, listen, I'm gonna read this again. Asha said, oh, okay. So I've been kind of reading ahead in a little bit of stuff, so which is helping me bring this together. Okay. Asha said, do the gods in heaven give rewards for good works and sacrifices done on earth? Zarathustra said, he that doeth good works and maketh sacrifices unto Ormaz, or maketh sacrifices to the Creator, the Great Spirit, has his reward. For it is by this means that the soul of man becometh strong, meaning we become stronger by not expecting to get reward for the things that we do, because if we have like if we're doing things expecting rewards, especially from the unseen realm, it really does weaken us and we could be led astray. We won't be able to see clearly and understand which spirits are talking to us. So it'll be easy, like if you accepting of bribes and rewards and doing things because you know you might get this and that out of your pure intention, the pure intentions of your heart, like I'm gonna do this because this is what I desire to do. I'm gonna do it even if I never get acknowledged for it or ever get any kind of reward, because this is me. This is I want to do it, right? Out of my love for humanity or whatever. This is my service that I've committed to doing, even if nobody else says anything or does. You know, that right there. If you don't go into it like that, you might get tripped up by a drook or something, right? And you might find yourself in the kingdom of one of these false gods. Okay, but this is going to explain us a whole lot more as we go through here, right? Okay. Asha said, do the gods in heaven give rewards for good works and sacrifices done on earth? Zarathustra said, he that doeth good works and maketh sacrifices unto Ormaz hath his reward. For it is by this means that the soul of man becometh strong, and especially strong for the first and second resurrections in the next world. Asha said, to be with thee, O Zarathustra, and feast on the wisdom of thy words, I would make any sacrifice. Wilt thou go with me amongst the poor? Yahuwah Mazda said, nay, thou shalt go alone. And for the company, thou shalt pray to thy Creator and make songs of praise unto him, nor think no more of thyself than if than as if thou wert dead. The king said, it is said of madmen that they think they are not mad. How then am I to know but that I am mad? Will not the world so adjudge me if I obey thy commandments? And cannot the world judge me better than I can judge myself? It was said of the ancients that Sudga, Sudha, and it has reference letter H, and I'll read it in a second. It was said of the ancients that Sugha obsessed old men and weak hearted women, and it was for that reason Osiris came and slew him. If there be gods in heaven, as thou sayest, mayest not thou have come to slay Osiris? And we'll be done with like two more verses, but let me look this up for Sugha. Sugha is spelled Sughdha. Okay. And Sugha is the same as Apollo, 1882 edition. Okay. Yahuwah said, thou art a great multiplier of arguments, but in all thy speech I have seen nothing that planned the resurrection of men from darkness into light. And is not this the all highest that man should aim at? Asha said, I am done. Thy judgment is greater than mine. All thou hast commanded of me I will do. From this time forth I will serve only Ormaz, the Creator. Thy God, O Zarathustra, shall be my God. Thy ways shall be my ways. Henceforth I will argue forever on the side of the Creator. And touching all matters, I will first ask myself what I shall say that will be like thy God would say it, and what I shall do that will fulfill the Ormazian law. Let me read that last sentence again. Last two. Thy God, O Zarathustra, shall be my God. Thy ways shall be my ways. Henceforth, I will argue forever on the side of the Creator. And touching all matters, I will first ask myself what I shall say that will be like thy God would say, and what I shall do that will fulfill the Ormazian law. And that, my beautiful people, is going to be the end of our reading for today. That was good. We actually read 10 pages. We started at page 164 and we ended on page 174. Robin, I just read your comment. Okay. All right, y'all. That is it for today. Thank y'all for hanging out. It is Monday. It is a federal holiday. I mean, we could go longer, but it's going to be it because I actually got to go do something today. Won't be here tomorrow because for this moon cycle, remember the Sabbaths fall on Tuesday. So we will be back here Wednesday, right? So but thank y'all for hanging out today. Spend some time reading ahead if you can, especially if you off today. Go ahead and read ahead. Skip around a little bit. Go read a little bit of the book of judgment or the book of divine law. Oh my gosh, I can hardly wait till we get there and those. Yo, amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right. With that being said, y'all, it is Monday, June the 20th, 2022, day 138 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. And of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1156. And like I said, we just read 10 pages, pages 164 through 174 in the Oahspe. And the section is called The Book of God's Word. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. About to go ahead and get out of here. And I will see y'all Wednesday, bright and early. May Yah bless you in all that you do. You know what? Look, I don't know. Well, I don't think I can go wrong with saying the most holy, right? Because now I'm starting to get, although this does, and I forget exactly where it starts talking about like the use of names and all that stuff. And I got to go back and read it again. So I was starting to get conflicted on what I should call the great creator. All right, should I refer to as the great spirit? Should I keep saying Yah? But I know we're gonna get to a part in here about Yahweh, and I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted. Help me out. But I don't think I can go wrong with the most holy. I know that I'm talking about the great creator, the great spirit. Sometimes I feel like I need to reiterate it just to make sure, I don't know, somebody may come in here. I don't know, people who know that we're growing or whatever, they ain't gonna say nothing. They ain't gonna act ignorant. You got some people come here, this name mean this. We get it. We really do, right? Everybody growing, and as you go on, we learn to do better, we do better, right? So but I'm like, Father, I'm gonna just say the most holy, or I'll say the great spirit, whatever. But you know what? For real, I'm starting to realize that don't none of that even matters. Like that it is such a minute thing to compare to everything else that we should be learning and focusing on. It's like it's all I don't even know how to explain it for real. Like with the names, it's almost like okay. So you know how the names of this the book that he gave him, right? Hold on. Okay, naming this book, right? For it is receive ye this book, for it is a holy book, the all highest law, the Huamazdan law, the Zarathustrian law, the Ormazdian law, right? And it shall be a rule and guide unto you and your kingdom forever. It's kind of like almost like that when it's like people arguing, well, this is Moses' law. No, this is God's law. They doing all that. It doesn't even matter. The whole point is the great creator gave it to him to give to all. It's for all of us. So whether you want to call it Moses' law or call it God's law or call it the Jewish law, whatever, it still remains to be the same, that it comes from our great creator. So pick whichever term you like the best and keep it moving. That's how I really feel about this right now. So forgive me for those who have grown cold to the term Yah, or some people may feel just because of how you grew up or whatever, you may feel more comfortable saying Yahweh or Yahuwah or the Great Spirit or whatever, right? The whole point is that we know that there is one great creator and everybody should be worshiping and leading our lives, acknowledging him. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? Okay. So with that being said, I love y'all. And may the great spirit, the creator of us all and all things good. Really? I wasn't even done with the blessing. She just ended Facebook. May he bless us all. And I'll see everybody back here Wednesday, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Go ahead. Good night. Bye, y'all.